traders? It's Johnny here at Trader X. Thank you guys so much for tuning back into the channel. And today I wanted to go ahead and provide you guys with another update and let you know how my day trading did go today. And so as you guys can see from the screen, today was my first green day of the week. I was up $67.32 on ticker symbol TQQQ, and I was down $18 on ticker symbol SQQQ, right? And so these are my field orders with the timestamps here on the left, the quantity I was trading with over here. The ticker symbol itself is here in the middle and the price points here on the right. So that's there for your reference. You guys can pretty much see where I was buying in and buying out on the day, but I'm going to go ahead and get into today's recap. So pretty much what I wanted to talk about today was ultimately what I think led to me ending green on the day, and what I did well and maybe what I could improve on heading into tomorrow. And so as you guys can see, right at market open, the market started to actually trade up on the day. So pre-market, it had a big drop. As you guys can see, the Nasdaq pushed all the way up to 11,970 and dropped all the way down to 11,479 points, right? And so ultimately, what ended up happening or what caused this big drop was the fact that there was a consumer inflation report that came out today, right? And it pretty much said that inflation was still increasing. And so that may have been why we saw this big drop. And ultimately, it did end up recovering on the day, right? And making these higher highs and higher lows. And so what I did a good job of today was right at market open, the Nasdaq actually started to pull back a bit more, right? So it had this big fall. It started to pick back up and then it broke below the EMA. And so I got into a few SQs positions as this thing was continuing to get rejected by the EMA. Oops, sorry about that. Let me go ahead and zoom out. And so as you guys can see right over here, as it started to trade below the EMA again, I believe I took one SQQ position. And once this thing broke above the EMA, I sold out, right? And I started to focus my attention on TQQQ. And a big reason for that was given the fact that this thing dropped so, big over a small period of time, the market typically tends to correct itself after it has these reactions to certain, to certain factors that influence it, right? So for today, it was the consumer data report or the inflation report, but other times it could be something different, right? Like earnings or something like that. But as this thing pulled on back, the market did eventually end up correcting itself back up to where it was, right? So that's typically what we see on movements like these. After it has a big fall, it broke above the EMA, broke below it again, right? But as you guys can see, it ultimately ended up to breaking above the EMA again and then uptrending. So rather than continuously get rejected by the EMA, this thing was now starting to use it to ride it up, right? And so what I ended up doing is, as this thing would push up and then pull on back to the EMA, I would get back into TQQQ and sell at high points. And then as this thing would pull back onto the EMA, I would get back into TQQQ and sell out at high points, right? So that's ultimately how I was able to make my money. And I actually wasn't trading with my full 10,000 like I normally do. Today I was only trading with 25% of that. So I was using $2,500, and so I was actually able to end up about 2% on the day, right? In the green. What you guys would notice if you saw my trades from where you guys could see it over here is my first trade I actually did fine with 10,000, but once it went south, right here on the Nasdaq, when I got into SQQQ and averaged up and it broke above, I took a small loss on it because I did a good job of cutting losses, right? That's something I really wanted to focus heavy on today, given the fact that I've been doing a poor job of managing my risk. So today I was more on top of it, and I definitely went with the flow today, right? So that is something I was very happy about. The fact that I ended green, majority of my trades were green on the day today. And what I actually liked and implemented was rather if say I saw this thing push up, peak out and then fall, right? As you guys can see, typically I feel like I would have just sent an order into to get into TQQQ again after seeing a fall because I would expect this thing to continue to ride up the EMA. But sometimes it doesn't always work out so perfectly the way it does here, right? This is what I mean, where it would like pull back and use the EMA as a support and continue to ride up. I mean times like this, right, where it breaks below the EMA, but still ends up using it as a support, right? So it's not as clean of a move as it was here, right? It actually breaks slightly below it, but it ultimately ends up doing the exactly what I expected it to. And so I was very grateful for that. And like I mentioned, I was pretty much sending limit orders today on my buys rather than just sending market orders. With market order, you'll get filled like that, but the slippage that occurs because you're getting filled at market is typically, it definitely can affect your profits, right? So that's ultimately what I like doing today. Like I mentioned, I was sending limit orders when I bought in rather than market orders, but that's something I'm going to continue to implement and carry on with me tomorrow. But yeah, so that was my pretty much my recap today for trading the Nasdaq, right? Ticker symbol SQQQ and TQQQ. When SQQQ was no longer indicating signs of a downtrend, I switched to TQQQ, and it was good that I did, right? Because the market ended up correcting itself after this big fall. And yeah, so I was able to end green on the day. I still currently am down in the big picture on the week about $210, something like that, right around there. So I definitely do still have some work ahead of me, leading into tomorrow and Friday to try to, pitch away at that red and try to end green on the week, right? But yeah, that's ultimately everything I wanted to cover. If you guys are new to the channel, we really do appreciate you guys liking and subscribing the video. It really helps us out a lot, and we're trying to build a cool stock community here on YouTube. But that's everything I wanted to discuss. I hope you guys all ended green and had an amazing day, and I will be posting a recap tomorrow, so I will see you guys then. Take care and have a good rest of your day.